Hi, folks. This is Rick Doc Walker, the DOC.
This is John Kime, and you're listening to the Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted.
What's going on, Rally? Happy belated Father's Day, man. How you doing?
Thank you, man. I greatly appreciate it. I'm doing good. Got a different little setup here in the background, as you can see. It was a little Father's Day gift to myself, some neon, and for SB events, different background. So I'm happy about that. My dad called me and said basically he wanted some Outback Steakhouse. So I'm not really a big Outback Steakhouse eater, but that's what Pops wanted. So I stopped by Outback and took care of him what he wanted, so
Nice, man.
yeah. So
You guys get a bloomin' onion?
no, I didn't get a blooming onion. Me and onions don't agree. If you probably don't remember, but yeah, we got a serious problem with that. So I stay away from it as far away as I can.
I hear you, man. Actually, Mrs. Tailgate's got an onion allergy too, so trust me, I get it. But damn,
Yeah,
I love those things. I know they're
yeah.
horrible
Now,
for you. It's like 5,000 calories in one thing, but if I'm
yeah,
going to
man.
Outback, it's going to be that. So that's awesome, though, man. Hopefully, you got a chance to relax.
I did. I was able to ride my bicycle. Got some miles in for that, and it's been a minute since I've actually been on it, and so my body was yelling at me. So I said, "All right, this few and far between. So we got to get this thing rolling again to get back on it because what was that last year? I did that century ride, so
You
I'm
doing that
I'm
again or no?
no, not this year. Not this year. The most that I said I wouldn't do another century. It just takes too much out of you. I may do 60, and a lot of people are like, well, if you can do 60, you can go ahead and do the last 40. Let me tell you something. That last 40 will kick your butt. So 60 is the most. That's my limit. And what is was it Clint Eastwood? A man's got no limitations. Well, there you have it. I know my limitations. So 60 is what you get out of me.
Yeah, I'm passing on that. My buddy actually that runs DC Frey, I just had lunch with him yesterday, and he was asking me if I wanted to help out with a Century Ride fundraiser. I said, no, zero chance. I know maybe my co-host and friend might be interested, but hearing that you're
Yeah.
out, I'm not even going to bring it up to you anymore. But it was the bike to the beach thing I think you did last year. He's trying to get a team together for that. I'm like, I'll meet you at the beach and I'll have a cold drink waiting for you, but I ain't riding a bike there.
Yeah,
So
that's something else, man. It takes a lot out of you. And oddly enough, a lot of people recover with the beer. I can't do it, but a lot of people do. They say it puts back the necessities in your body. So I'm like, all right, electrolytes, but I've never done it.
I'm not sure if I believe that. I've actually, instead of Gatorade, I've been doing coconut water. It's supposed to be
Yes.
better for you, electrolyte,
Yeah.
everything else. And actually, I don't mind the taste of it. So when I did that last tournament with the concussion, and I know you guys are probably sick and tired of hearing about it, but they had pickle juice on the
Yes.
side.
Yes.
And I didn't mind it because I like sour, like Sour Patch Kids, like sour
Hmm.
food. I enjoy that stuff, but they had pickle juice to help you with your electrolyte imbalance. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I took a shot glass of it and it was okay, but coconut water is supposed to do the same thing. And to me, that tastes a hell of a lot better. So I went to Costco and stocked up because
Hmm.
I signed up for a couple more tournaments coming up. So looking forward to drinking that instead of some pickle juice. So
Well, playing football in Texas, you have a lot of options. You got the salt tablets that they give you prior to the game, and then they actually have pickle juice, and pickle juice actually helps you recover a lot faster. I don't like the taste of coconut water, but it's one of those things. To each his own. I got a big jug of pickle juice in the refrigerator as we speak to help me recover because I plan on going out riding tomorrow and it's going to be a
oof,
scorcher. But
it's gonna be 100
yeah.
degrees, man.
Hey, bro, you got to do what you got to do, man. You got to get it in, and that's why you got to hydrate. So pickle juice is my friend.
Well, I will be having a probably an orange crush this time tomorrow. For those wondering, it's Tuesday the 18th at 4 o'clock. Riley and I are recording this. So I will be toasting to you sweating your ass off out there, man. And checking
Mm.
in on you, making sure you got back okay, because it is way too hot outside right now.
Yeah, tomorrow just gonna be maybe a 20-mile ride, just something
Yeah.
simple. Yeah, nothing too bad.
I don't drive 20 miles in a week, let alone ride on a bike. So that's just way too much for me, man. No, but man, this past week, so we didn't do a show last week. There wasn't a ton going on. And you and
Yeah.
I were not able to live the good life and get some mini camp passes. I know there were some people out there that got blessed with some passes. I did run into Mark Ein, though, Commanders
Oh,
owner Mark Ein. So
okay.
I went to the Major League Pickleball event that they held in DC. It was a 4-day event, Thursday through Sunday. And
Hmm.
Mark runs the Mubadala City Open. He's a huge tennis guy. And I'm
Right.
hanging out there. And it was probably Friday. And I wanted to take a picture with Jack Sock. And those who don't know who Jack Sock is, he's won a bunch of tennis grand slams. He won Olympic gold for the USA. And he's actually started playing pickleball. And the
Mm.
guy is kind of he's a big deal when it comes to that world. And I wanted to take a picture with him. And I saw this guy in a full-fledged like winter commander's jacket. I'm like, what? It's 90 degrees out. Like, if you can't see, if you're watching this on YouTube, I look like Rocket the Raccoon. Like, I've got like raccoon eyes for my sunglasses and everything else, and just tan everywhere else. It was hot as hell this past week. I'm like, why is this guy wearing this jacket? It was Mark Ein rocking this commander's like jacket with a full hood on and everything else. I'm like, I don't know if he's got like a new air conditioned jacket or what, but he was out there hanging out and talking to Jack. And I took a picture with Jack and talked to Mark for a bit. But for 4 days, I was out there in the sun, hanging
Hmm.
out, watching these guys and gals go at it and go crazy. I mean, it was a ton of fun.
Hmm.
Had a blast. I got a chance to catch up with Mark and ask them about, mini camp and OTAs, how everything's
Yeah.
going. And he said it's like night and day. You know, I want to keep some of our conversation private just out of respect for him. But he said there was just a significant difference between what happened last year when they took over as ownership and how things were being set up by that old staff, and then this year and how things are being set up with the new staff. And we talked about it in a past pod how I want to say it was Jahan Dotson said he felt like he got traded to a new team because everything is just so different.
Isn't
And
that
just from the
something?
way the coaches are handling everything. And it gives you some hope, right? Knowing that I felt like the last regime, they knew they were on the way out. Other than Eric Bieniemy, I think they all realized that this is it. We ain't going to win. We ain't going to be here next year. We're just going to collect our money and get fired at the end of the season. So they were kind of half-assing it. They talk about
Hmm.
it's that time of year where, you know, if you're in college or you're in high school, you get like what senioritis or something like that, where you kind of just phone in the rest of the couple of weeks you have left before everything's over because you're done.
Right.
You don't got to worry about it. And I feel like that was the entire 2023 season. And now Dan Quinn is out here on, team number two, and he's trying to make things better and learn from what he did last time. And it's interesting to hear from ownership that they're seeing just a significant difference. And we've got a bunch of clips here for those of you that didn't get a chance to check out a bunch of the Commanders press conferences talking about with Jaden and Terry and DQ what they've been doing this past week for OTAs and mandatory mini camp and the voluntary portion. And guess how many players missed the voluntary portion?
I'm going to say zero.
Winner, winner, man. I mean, everybody showed up. And in the past, whether it was right or wrong, the fan base and the media blew it up when Chase wouldn't post
Hmm.
or so and so wouldn't post. And well, it's voluntary, it's not mandatory, blah, blah, blah. It's just the fact that every single person was there in this heat and doing what they needed to do to me spoke volumes that the team is buying in. They understand they're rebuilding or quote unquote recalibrating, and they want to hit the ground running,
You
right?
see that recalibrating? That's right.
There you go, man. There you go.
Recalibrating.
And it's just to me, it's refreshing to know that the guys are all sacrificing their off-season time to still be there to put in the work. I mean, what were your thoughts when you heard about it?
Well, the way I look at it is it's the first day of school, and everyone wants to make a lasting impression on the teacher slash coach. So you're the head coach. You realize I'm sure that he had plenty of talks with him and said, even though this is voluntary, I expect to see everyone here because we were 4 and 14 or 4 and what we were
13.
last year, 4 and 13. So that doesn't show me that you can take any days off. I'm new, but I'm going to hit the ground running. And the fact is, what I've seen is, and I'm looking forward to seeing it in person. Dan Quinn seems like a very huge motivator, and I think that he motivated those guys to get there with a little bit of, I'm sure, some other little choice words. But everybody wants to be on the same page, and it starts from day one. Actually, they say it starts at the top and it filters its way down to the players. Well, he has it, and the players see it. I think also they see the back end, and the back end meaning ownership, doing things differently. You're just not a part of some whatever have you. You actually feel the part, and they always say if you feel it, you'll give more, just like a relationship. So I really think that everyone is buying in. I think that everyone is can see the difference that we as fans feel. We can't see it yet, but we feel it, whereas they see it because they're there at camp every day and they know what's going on. And we've got a lot of, in the past, I would always say, well, we've got pieces, but those pieces never really matched up or marred up, if you will. Well, now it seems as though these pieces are really coming together, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they look like here in the near future.
Yeah, I am too. And we'll talk about being able to see it in person because the team announced the training camp dates and when fans are going to be allowed to be out there. But I don't want to jump the gun too much. But this is
Hmm.
actually what Dan Quinn had to say about doing this the second time around.
And second time as a head coach, if you self-evaluate at all, what do you think you're doing better this time around in this phase?
Yeah, I think knowing that there's a really deep, strong crew from coaching and through Adam is my ability to delegate and then keep my attention and my focus solely onto the players and push the coaches to find those things. What does it look like for another player to try new things, to go into new spaces? So it's allowed me to really kind of keep everything right in the middle. And that's a really good feeling knowing that you have that much trust with a guy like Adam on the personnel side and the coaches. So it's allowed me to really connect with the players because when you have 91 guys here, it's not that easy to build a connection with that many people. So that takes time. And so it's allowed me to be that space with them.
So I'm excited. I mean, everyone has raved about just Coach Quinn, his former players, coaches, everything else. To me, he's the type of guy that when he says he's taking the time to get to know you, he's actually doing that. And you can only do so much in mini camp and OTAs because the guys aren't allowed to hit. They're not wearing pads. They're out there and,
Right.
B. Mitch likes to say t-shirt and panties, right? And this is actually what Terry had to say that they've been doing so far. And I actually found this very reassuring because I feel that this is something that the guys have lacked in the past. And it's why maybe they haven't been as successful as a team.
Well, the first week, we didn't even really talk a lot of X's and O's. We just got to know each other. We did a lot of team building things. And I noticed, you start to notice the guard drops with everybody on the team. It's like, yeah, we're here to compete for jobs. Yeah, we're teammates. But at the same time, like, we are really fighting for one another. You know what I mean? And we're bringing the best out of each other. And we're making a commitment each and every day to bring our best selves. And then if we don't have it, then we know somebody else is going to pick us up. And so, that trust that is being built right now allows you to go through the ups and the downs of a season, which every team goes through. I know I got a little off topic, but I think, the X's and O's are going to come, but the camaraderie that I feel on this team that's being built right now is extremely special, and I think it makes the grind a lot easier.
I mean, you don't have a ton of vets that came back. Obviously, Terry's back, but all the free agents we had, they only brought back what, 4, 5 of them, and we had a ton. So this is basically half the roster, if not, actually, I'd say more than half the roster is new. So a lot of these
Yeah.
guys got to get to know each other.
Well, Terry made a valid point. Even though you may not have a lot of vets returning from the actual organization, you brought in a lot of vets who have different outlooks and different camps underneath their belt, and they know what they need to see. And I really believe that, let's just say Carolina. I'm just going to throw them up, or yeah, we'll say Carolina. Well, in Carolina, we did it this way, and I think that being able to augment what Carolina's doing, what the Chargers were doing, what another organization was doing, and bringing it all together, that for the players, that means a lot. Also, look at the coaching staff. These aren't first gen coaches. These guys have been around the block. They know what coaching is all about, and they know when you're slacking. Whereas maybe the last regime that we had maybe knew they were slacking, but like you said, they were kind of on their way out, and maybe they didn't push as hard. But this go around, it seems as though everyone has something to prove now, and I believe that they're going to push these guys to do what really needs to be done. And like I said, you're going to get tired of me saying this, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and Dan Quinn was asked, I want to say it was by JP Finley. Basically, last year was rock bottom for some of these players that were on the existing staff, on the existing team, right? They didn't put up the best film. And paraphrasing, kind of fast forwarding, Dan Quinn said that everyone is starting from scratch, right? He's not taking into account last year's tape in this and that. You're a part of this team now. He is judging you from now, moving forward, not what you did prior. So your slate is clean. You're starting fresh from zero, right? And I think these guys, hopefully, they're all trying to put their best foot forward and prove to this new staff and Adam Peters and everyone else that they deserve to be here. And not having had a chance to be out there, we didn't get a chance to see it in person. Hopefully we will at training camp. But hearing from like Chick Hernandez and John Keim and Nikki Javala and JP Finley, like all the different beat reporters, they're saying it is just so different. Like talking to Mark about how much he's seen the difference between last year and this year, it's night and day with the bags drill and everything else that guys have been doing out there. And this is all great. And it doesn't really matter anything unless it counts for extra wins towards the end of the season. But this is what Terry had to say about the different feel and the difference in camp.
You've been through a bunch of mini camps, not training camp yet, but we noticed a difference.
Yeah.
Do you notice the difference in the staff and what you guys are doing during this time?
Definitely. I think Coach Quinn and the entire staff have really enforced not just effort, but the competition aspect of football. And we're in practice now, and guys are really like pissed off when the offense loses or the defense loses the day. Like I've coming from, I'm far removed from college, but it reminds me a lot of the college days where you're just getting after each other. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think on the schedule it says Commanders play the Commanders, but that competitiveness makes each and everybody better because you want to be the one who's winning that rep. You want to be the side of the ball is winning that practice. You want to win in the weight room. And it's a constant mentality that they're driving home to where you always have to be in competition mode. I think that's the game of life. You know what I mean? You're either getting better or you're getting worse. And I think Coach Quinn really allows us to lay out a plan for ourselves, like for myself, getting better at the top of my routes or getting better at run after catch. He sets the standard for all of us to get better and pinpoint the things we need to get better on, and then he gives us time before or after practice to get better on it, working with our position coach. So he makes the time for us to be able to work on the things that we need to improve on. But I just think the number one thing that stood out is the competition that's in and out of the building every day.
We always would hear that iron sharpens iron. The offensive line's going against the defensive line. This defensive line's a bunch of first round studs, so the O line's going to be great. And it never actually happened that way, right? Our O line was Swiss cheese last year. But I feel a lot of that just came down to poor coaching and not using your talent properly. On top of just, bad roster management, Nick Gates and a bunch of those O linemen that were just turnstiles, looked like they were on rollerblades, just getting pushed back constantly. But when Terry says it, I trust him, man. If Terry could tell me that, hey, there's oceanfront property in, North Dakota, and I'd believe him, right? Because it's just he's not a salesman, but when he speaks, it speaks volumes. And a lot of the people have been saying he has been so much more vocal during this mini camp. He is taking that leadership role and running with it. And there's a clip where Terry was saying that he doesn't want to talk just to talk. He wants his words to have meaning. And he doesn't want to be one of those rah-rah guys that's kind of like jumping up and down and yelling and screaming. Like John Allen's a team captain, but he barely talks and says anything to the guys. He's more lead by example than lead by words. But Terry is doing everything he can to be vocal and provide feedback for different guys here and there. And when he's saying that he's noticing the difference, and I don't want to just keep harping on this, it just gets me amped, man. It gets me excited because you had Club J prior where they were just playing music and playing ping pong and all this other stuff, and everything seemed easier. And then you had Bieniemy come in with his cheetah system and all these different barn animals and zoo animals and everything else, and yelling and screaming. People heard him cursing and this and that. And just now you actually have, I feel like the players are kind of more so buying into it because you've got a Hall of Famer, Bobby Wagner, that is saying this is how it should be. This is how camp should be. You've got like a Frankie Louvu, who was a stud coming in from other teams. You talked about those other vets coming in here. Like, yeah, this is actually how it is around the league, right? You guys have just been, I don't want to say getting it easy, but this is what it's supposed to be like. This is what winners are made out of. And I feel that this is what is going to help us get over that step. And on top of that, bringing in a stud like Jaden. And the team did not make Jaden QB1. Are you shocked that after OTAs and minicamp, they still haven't come to a decision yet?
No, I'm not shocked because right now there's really, and don't take this the wrong way, there's really no pressure on the young man. I mean, there's pressure on him, but there's no hitting drills, and there's no one who's really coming after him. There's still a lot to learn and a lot to be seen. Although we do believe that he is going to be the starter, but right now, just continue to progress, young man. That's what we want to see. Continue to progress. I want to go back to something that you said about the players and their coaches. The difference, I think, between the Jays and the Rons is they were kind of, I guess, chummy type of guys, whereas this is a brand new coaching staff that what you did in the past, yeah, we know of you, and we know we've heard what you can do, but I haven't seen it. Meaning from the coach's standpoint, I need to be able to see what you can do. So we're not just standing on what you did, we're standing on what are you doing. And that's why I believe that the players are buying into it, because nobody has a pass. When you were 2 or 3 years in with Jay, you could get a pass, so to speak. 2 to 3 years with Ron, you could get a pass because they knew Well, now all these eyes are looking at you to see, yeah, we heard about what you could do, but show us. You want that number one spot? Show us you deserve that number one spot. And I think that's why you're getting so much out of everyone, because no one cares that what you did. We want to know, what are you doing right now to keep it and to earn that spot. And I can't wait to see them in pads, because before we would always say, well, yeah, you're my brother, and I'm not really going to go that hard against you because you're my brother. I don't feel that way now. I feel that everyone can be replaced, or not necessarily be replaced, but be second string, if you will. You know, there's no day one starters, if you will. Prove to me why you deserve that. And so you can't do that buddying up with your partner. There's gonna be some serious, I'm sure, uh, like you said, iron sharpening iron out there, and it's going to be fascinating. It really is, because this whole excitement reminds me of 2012, and we've heard that before, but it really does. RG brought excitement back to the organization, and this is on a whole nother level. He was just one player, whereas now we've got a team full of players that are bringing the excitement along with Jaden.
Yeah, there have been a lot of comparisons between Jaden and Robert, whether
Hmm.
they're warranted or not. To me, there was one major difference that Jaden has over Robert, and this is actually Jaden talking about it.
A lot of guys keep saying, I get here at 6:30 and Jaden's already here. So what time are you getting here? And what are you doing in the morning when you get here?
I mean, I get here around like 5:45, and just like walking through in the bubble, in the indoor, watching film and stuff like that. But just trying to prepare myself for the day. It's kind of just that routine that I had when I was in college, but now I'm in there actually walking through, because I'm not. I'm still learning the playbook and trying to grasp everything. So just being comfortable for the day, and being ready to go out there and go out and compete at practice.
Are you by yourself when you're doing that?
Yeah.
And then what's the biggest...
No. Me and Luke McCaffrey.
So he's getting there at 5:45 in the morning with
Hmm.
Luke, but he's not hitting the weight room like Robert was doing. To me, Robert, all he cared about was putting up weight, being in that weight room or whatever else. Jaden's in there watching film. He's studying. He's doing everything he can to get in this playbook and get better. And that's one thing Robert did not do when he was here. That to me is a major difference of why I feel Jaden's going to be successful and why Robert was not. The Shanahans had to come up with a gimmicky style offense because Robert wasn't a well-rounded quarterback. He could not read defenses, right?
Hmm.
LSU worked with a program to do this AI virtual headset to help Jaden read defenses. And the kid just dove right into it. The Commanders are doing the exact same thing. They're bringing that AI virtual headset here, right? He is a true student of this game, and he will
Hmm.
know where he needs to go. Hearing, once again, because there are eyes and ears from the beat reporters, how fast his release has been, like where he knows pre-snap where he wants to be. And granted, they're not blitzing and they're not disguising coverages and doing this and that. We're not going to get a true taste of that until later on. You're not going to see that in preseason or training camp. Really, what this has been, and we played a clip of it before, this has been a glorified passing camp for Jaden and the receivers and the running backs. That's all OTA's mini camp are, because the linemen don't have pads. They're not cutting anybody. Your defensive linemen aren't bull rushing, doing anything like that. But it's still giving him a chance to see where he has to go. And getting there and putting that work in at 5:45 in the morning, to me, has been key. And I don't feel that he's saying that to be like, oh, hey, I'm the first one here. I think he's saying that because he's legit. That is just him. He's a hard worker. There were stories about he was on the airplane after he got drafted and got a copy of the playbook and was looking at the playbook with his family and this and that. I mean, That's why I was walking in Tyson's Corner, right? And I told myself I'm not going to buy a Commander's jersey, but I walked past a store because I'm trying to find some new kicks. I need some new tennis shoes, man. And it, like, they had a whole new Commander setup in front of this one spot, and it was a fresh Jaden Daniels 5 jersey, and it's like, damn. Because after hearing his press conference, I'm getting hyped, and I want to do it, but I don't want to do it because I'm trying to save my cash. But I'm getting excited, man, because this kid he's saying all the right things. He's definitely saying all the right things, but is it going to actually translate? I don't know yet. I have a feeling it is because he's putting the work in.
Yeah.
I just hope there are certain things out of his control. He can't play left tackle and quarterback at the same time, right? So like there's other things, like, to me, you can have a basketball team be dominated by one guy. Hockey can be dominated by like just badass goalie that is on fire that can shut down someone else. Baseball, you can have a pitcher that can take over. Granted, he only plays once every 4 or 5 games. Football is the ultimate team sport, in my opinion. And I think he's got all the intangibles to be that quarterback we've been looking for decades. It's just the other pieces that we have to hopefully have faith that Adam Peters has filled in properly. And that I don't know yet.
It's coming. You won't have to worry long. And the thing is, we've seen T-shirts in Adam I Trust, or in Adam We Trust, or whatever have you. It kind of reminds me back in the day when we were so thirsty to where with Scott McClellan. We wanted him just to just help the team out so much. Well, this is on a whole nother level. Scott doesn't even compare to what Adam has done, and just the whole reworking of the organization's front, as well as the player personnel. And did you see that special that they had on television over the weekend, behind the closed doors in the draft?
No, I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was literally at that tournament for 10 hours a day.
Okay. Well, that was a great special. I recommend anyone and everyone to watch that special that they had behind closed doors of the draft. And it was awesome seeing how they all worked together as far as picking players and just giving the nod and the excitement on their faces when they made the phone calls to these players, and hearing the excitement from the players. And then there was a couple shots of us in the draft. So it was good to see that, to break the monotony up a little bit. But man, I'm invested. I've always been invested. This year, it feels different, and I'm even more invested than I've ever been. And that says a lot. It really does. 2024, 25. I mean, look out. Look out.
I mean, you and I are obviously, we're going to be there no matter what. I'm just trying to temper expectations just because things were so bad. 4-13, right? And we had so many holes. So the fact of they just had to bring in a whole new just roster in general. But we all know what 2012 looked like, right? And they had to basically, we went on a run. It was a bad season up until we went on that 6-7 game winning streak towards the end. I mean, it was just didn't start off
out.
Great.
They figured it out. The light bulb came on. Yeah.
But having a game changer like Jaden can hide and mask different deficiencies of a not so good football team. And this is actually what DQ had to say about the progress he's made so far.
How would I say whom? Who? No, I'm just kidding. There's other. Here's what I say. This guy came in with really excellent football characteristics in terms of command and huddle and vision to go. I think probably what you don't see is the amount of offense and defense, that the coaches put in. And so for him to absolutely nail that and to go early to say, I have that, I have it. There was a lot of work put in from the studying spot. So I would say not only does the physical traits show up, it's the work ethic, I think, that goes behind. I think through the years and through the season, you guys will feel that and see that. Like, this is a guy that really puts it in. And so that goes a long way to any other player on the team to know that, like, hey, man, we're all putting it in at this space. But it takes extra at that position, and he's definitely down for that. All right, you guys.
I mean, some of the vets have chimed in. There was Revo talked about how Jaden knew who he was. Revo was, granted a Pro Bowl special teams player, but he knew who he was. Like, the kid is doing his homework to get to know and to get the respect from all these guys. And it's refreshing to hear. And I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. And
Yeah.
it's got to be a lot of pressure on him. So if it's me and I've got roughly, they're saying 6 weeks. We just found out today that it's not really 6 weeks. The rookies have to report to training camp on July 18th. So he's got 3 weeks off from any team activities. If you had 3 weeks off and you knew when you had to go back to work, you're going to be sitting there busting your ass at 5:45 in the morning. I'm sure he's up at 4 something to get down there and get ready and be at practice. And you're going to be out in that DC, Virginia heat and humidity. What would you be doing with your 3 weeks?
I think based upon what they just came off of, I would say give me a day, just to maybe 2 days to decompress, even if it meant just getting away for a little bit. But then after that, hitting the books hard, putting that AI trainer on and figuring out what you need to go through. So I give you a little secret. I'm looking at getting my pilot's license. And one of the biggest things that you have to do with your pilot's license is regurgitate what the tower says back to you as far as what runway you want to use, what altitude, what squawk, the whole 9 yards. So just getting the verbiage down is what I see him working on, and they say he's getting it. So you got to have a couple of days to yourself just to decompress, but then jump right back into it. And I see him with headphones on, listening, getting the cadence, and figuring out what he wants to do, getting the playbook down, and throwing into the squares, if you will, rolling out the one, just all that stuff that he knows what it's going to take to lead the team to victory. What about you?
So if I had 3 weeks off, knowing what was upcoming and how taxing it was going to be, I'm going to Fiji, man. I'm leaving, right? I'm going to be hanging
You
out.
leaving?
I'm calling SB Events, and I'm asking them to book me a trip to a remote, exotic location away from football, away from fans, away from social media, so I can just clear my head and probably relax and not have to deal with this, because I know once I get back, it's not ending, if we're lucky, until February.
So you're saying you're taking off 3 weeks?
I'm taking off at least a week, maybe a week and a half, because I don't got to be back. I don't got to be back in Ashburn. I don't got to be doing anything, right? And I want to take time, because I don't want to get burned out. And hey, maybe that's why, a huge reason why I'm not a professional football player. But, maybe when I join the Pro Pickleball Senior Tour, I'm not going to be taking that time off. But this is actually what Jaden had to say about what he's going to be doing with his time off.
Okay.
You mentioned training camp. After tomorrow, you have kind of 6 weeks off. Have you started to think about how you balance time off, mental, physical, as you get ready for training camp?
Nah, I mean, I've been in football mode, man. Mini camp, OTAs, rookie mini camp now, mandatory mini camp. All I know is I'm going to go back to Southern California, go train my quarterback coach down in Huntington Beach, and get ready for the season, get ready for training camp, and put myself in the best position out there to come out here and just compete with the guys and have fun.
Yeah. See, I told you, give it a couple days, not a week and a half, a couple of
Hey,
days,
man.
bro. He's got the okay. So I'll say this: Frankie Louvu, Jahan, Terry. I can see those guys doing that. What's the other one, man? The linebacker we just spoke of,
Wagner, Bobby.
Wagner. I can see him doing it, but Jaden, the Heisman rookie of the year, Heisman not rookie, but Heisman Trophy winner coming into his rookie season. Now, bro, all eyes are on him, and whether we want to believe it or not, we put a lot of pressure on this young man. We as fans and the city, the DMV, is on his back right now. So he doesn't want that. He just doesn't want it. And you know as well as I do that we've got some harsh, harsh, harsh fans that the minute that he messes up, oh, they're going to be all over him. So he's got that's on his back. And I really hate that it is on his back, but he signed up for it. So he understands, and that's why give himself a couple of days off, get to California and get at it, because they're going to be looking for him to lead, not play the back role, to lead. And all good leaders, no one sees the work that you put in to actually be successful. It's no different than what you do, what I do, SB events. Everyone always says, man, you made my trip seamless. Well, because you didn't see me blood, sweat, and tears, getting flights, getting contracts. You didn't see that. My job is to make your experience seamless and easy. Just make your payments and show up. That's all you got to do. So imagine from the quarterback standpoint, where he's got to make sure that he knows where everyone on the field is going to be, motioning them the whole 9 yards. And the team has not been good for all these years. And so they've basically put the halo over this young man's head and said, lead us. So I totally understand what that means to him.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, it's a ton of pressure. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right or wrong, being the Heisman Trophy winner, number 2 pick in the draft, it's all on his shoulders. If we fail, it's on his shoulders. Dan Quinn's legacy is going to be Jaden Daniels. Adam Peters' legacy, right or wrong, is going to be Jaden Daniels, this pick, right? And I cannot even begin to imagine what's going through this kid's head. I mean, I wish he wouldn't have told people he was going to go to Huntington Beach, because you talk about this fan base, there's probably going to be some crazy fans going out there waiting to try and get his autograph on the beach someplace and stalk his ass. But this is actually what Jaden had to say about all of this extra added pressure.
Jaden, there's a lot of expectation or anticipation of what you might mean for this franchise and from this fan base. Do you feel any added pressure because of that?
Nah, not at all. I'm just out here just doing my job. How can I help the team get better each and every day? And that's what I'm focused on. I'm focused on learning, focused on going out here, keep competing every day and having fun, bringing that energy and that joy and that competitiveness to the team, which DQ and them preach all the time. We want to compete in everything that we do. So I'm out here just trying to do my job. That's a 1/11th, again, the 11 people on my side of the ball to go the same direction.
I got to tell you, Ted, that's scripted. That's scripted, brother. You can't tell me that. No, there is plenty of pressure on this young man, and he's feeling it. But then again, you know what though? Right now, maybe he isn't feeling as much as we think that he would. But once those pads come on, and once that live firing from another opponent comes at him, then that pressure will hit. And one thing that I don't want him to do is, I think it was, what was the quarterback from Chicago that left? I don't even know where he is now, but he beat us. He made the mistake.
He's in
Fields.
Pittsburgh now, yeah.
Pittsburgh. Fields made the mistake. Oh, this is slowing down for me. I mean, this is nothing. He made that mistake and said that, and those vets came after his butt, and it's like, oh, so you said this is slow for you, huh? All right. I don't want to hear that. So keep with the script, brother. I don't mind keep with the script, but at the same time, just bring it down a little bit because no one's come at you just yet.
So do you think while he's in Huntington Beach, he's going to catch up with Brandon Aiyuk out there in San Fran? It's about an hour and 20-minute plane ride.
I wouldn't doubt if Aiyuk meets him at the airport or at the what do you call it, the regional airport or whatever have you, because he's getting on the PJ. He's not flying commercial, so I'm sure that wherever that PJ lands, Aiyuk will be there with probably SUV, or he'll tell him where he'll be and Aiyuk will meet him and they'll talk, because that right there is another highlight of the DMV that is just blowing up, and I don't know what to make of it. What do you?
So those that don't know what Riley and I are talking about, there was a TikTok that was on Aiyuk's page, right? And it was of him FaceTiming with Jaden Daniels. Aiyuk is on his 5th-year option right now. The 49ers exercised his 5th-year option. He was a number 1 pick in 2020. He was the first-round pick, number 25 in the draft. And the 49ers exercised his option, right? He's going to get close to $15 million this year. But after this year, he's a free agent. So he has been skipping mandatory minicamp. He missed OTAs. And they say he's going to be holding out for training camp too, because according to him in the video, the Niners don't want him. And here's my word of advice for Jaden. And Aiyuk and Jaden know each other because they played together at Arizona State the one year Jaden was there. They're boys. They've talked about in the past where they keep in touch constantly. There's a certain thing called tampering, right? And whether they try and get him on this or not, I mean, you can be friends all you want, but then it's just the NFL, they're crazy, man. They got Kirk Cousins and got in trouble at the Falcons because the Falcons were tampering with Kirk before the allowed tampering period of free agency. And I'm not saying that's what's happening here or this and that. I would, if I'm Jaden, I'd ask Brandon, hey, don't put that video up again of me and you having a private FaceTime conversation. Because next thing you know, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at this thing, and it's been seen, 50,000 times. You mentioned it, the DMV's blowing up. Is Aiyuk going to come here? First, do you want Aiyuk to come here?
I think that he would be a great asset to the team, providing that he has the right attitude.
But he's looking for a $24 million plus contract, right? On top of that, we would have to trade for him. We'd have to give up draft picks. So me personally, I'm just worried about having to pay this guy $24 million, if not $25+ million. He can't play left tackle. And what kind of picks are we going to have to give the Niners? They're talking about a potential 2nd round and 4th round pick. And yes, everyone's excited, but I feel a lot of that's because we live in a fantasy football world. I mean, you don't play fantasy football, but most of our listeners probably do. And we just picked up Luke McCaffrey. We got a bunch of guys. We got a bunch of weapons. There's only one football, right? How many of those weapons can you put on the field at the same time? So I don't feel that making a trade for Aiyuk makes sense for this team as it's constructed right now. If we were one piece away, then okay, maybe. Now, if we got him as a free agent and we're not having to give up draft picks, then maybe. But $25 million at that point going to him, and that's just starting. That's just way too heavy a price to pay for me to want him to come here. So the Commanders have had a good offseason, right? I mean, we brought in a bunch of stuff. People want Aiyuk to come here to make the offseason even better. Well, CBS Sports came out with a top 10 list for ranking the top 10 NFL off seasons per team, right? We know we're in the top 10. From your standpoint, where do you think we're listed?
I say 6.
So not bad, pretty close. They actually gave 6 to the Rams. We don't really care about them. They
No.
gave us 8th. So
Eighth.
a lot
Okay.
rests, says here, a lot rests on the shoulders of the new offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury. If he can put Daniels in a position to succeed, then Washington may be starting down a quick turnaround. The hiring of head coach Dan Quinn was not splashy, but it should at least bring a clear vision and stability to the organization. Free agency was spent filling holes with experienced, relatively inexpensive players familiar with Quinn's coaching style. By building out that depth, they allowed themselves to be more flexible in the 2024 NFL draft. Jaden Daniels was a crown jewel, but they've made quality additions on the defensive side of the ball with tackle Johnny Newton, cornerback Mike Sanderstil, and others. And maybe if we traded for Aiyuk, they would move us up to 6th or move us up to 4th or 3rd. I don't know, man. I'm not on board with making that kind of jump just because of all the examples I listed earlier. We just got way too many holes to fill.
Well, he might give us a team-friendly deal just to get out of San Fran, or this all could be a ploy. I tend to believe that it's all a ploy. When players do this, it's they really don't want to leave, and anything that's going to help them help their stock, if you will, go up the leaderboard. I believe that that's what it's about. And by chance, if he does have to leave, someone's going to pay him the money, so he's going to get what he wants. But you hold out like anybody else on, you play hardball, and here he is. He's playing it. So anything that can help the story, so to speak, and that gets him his money, do what you got to do.
Yeah, if there was like a FanDuel prop bet of Aiyuk removing all 49ers pictures from his Instagram and social media, I would put $1,000 on that right now. Because that's going to be the next step, right? It's when these guys are holding out and they're pissed off. You mentioned Justin Fields earlier. He removed all mention of the Bears from his social media, and everyone's, ooh, what's he going to do? What's happening? Give me a break, man. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous to me, but it's a story in DC, and you got a lot of people talking about it. And again, I think it goes back to the whole fantasy football thing. But will we see him in training camp when the Commanders are supposed to be there? I don't know.
No,
I'm not too sure.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think he's going to be there. But vets are supposed to show up on July 24th. So the NFL announced all the training camp dates for all the teams, and the Commanders announced all the training camp dates that fans are allowed to go to. So last year, I didn't get a chance to look it up, but I went to basically every day that we were allowed to be there except for Fan Appreciation Day. That day is, to me, miserable because you have so many thousands of people there. And it's just, they're there to get autographs, they're there to get pictures. I'm there to watch camp, right? So that's the one day I missed last year. This year, it's not looking good, man. And depending if you want to be out there for autographs or what you're looking for, guess how many days the team is allowing fans to be out there?
4.
Yeah, you're not too far off. 7 total. And 2 of those days are exclusive days for different season ticket holder groups. So the dates are July 28th is Back Together Weekend. That's a Sunday. July 29th is Salute Day. So I don't know if that's a military only day.
Got to be at Andrews, I'm sure.
Like. No, I think, no, this is out in Ashburn.
Huh.
So yeah, that's definitely out in Ashburn. So I don't know if they're only allowing military members to go to Salute Day. July 30th is Season Ticket Member Business Network Day. August 1st is Season Ticket Member Ultra Day. August 2nd is General Admission. August 4th is Kids Day. So if any of you people out there have kids and you need a babysitter and I can use your kid to get into camp, you let me know. And August 6th is General Admission Day. So there are only technically, I guess if you want to get into it, maybe 5 days that you can go if you're not a maybe military member, because if you're not a ultra member, you can't be an ultra member and a business network member. I mean, me and a bunch of the tailgate crew, we all got different packages so we can invite each other to different stuff. But you don't get a chance to really watch practice. How do you feel about this, knowing that you have been waiting to put your leave in and just to be out there and to see this in person? You've got less than 7 times that you can actually watch the guys. What are you thinking?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. And I say that only because it was forced down my throat that I couldn't attend OTAs as a fan. And obviously they are reining things in. And realistically, who's would go every day? I mean, I'm sure you got somebody who probably, if they could, they would.
I'd
But
go.
I think that this gives everyone an opportunity, an equal opportunity, to be able to go. Now, granted, you've got friends who are in the different networks who are going to be able to say, "Hey, I want 5 hypothetically tickets." I think you can get 6. If I'm not mistaken, the max you can get is 6. I
Yeah.
could be wrong, but
No, you're right. It's 6.
okay. So it's no problem. Hey, man, I need one of those tickets. Help me out, hobo, help a brother out, and I'm going to be doing the exact same thing. I'm just hoping that everyone. I hope that everyone achieves the goal that they're looking for. If you want to see practice, you see practice. If you want to get selfies with the players, you're able to get a couple selfies. If you just want to be around everyone, whatever your goal is, I'm hoping that you can achieve it in the time allotted for those days.
I'm surprised about your response, man. I thought you would be annoyed that there aren't more days for fans to be out there. And the Eagles only have 1 practice open, right? That's it, just total.
Well, let me say this, Ted. If and when a new practice facility is built and it can house more people, then or let's just say that this was at the University of Maryland. I'm just going to use that as just an example. The practices were at the University of Maryland, and you can hold 80,000 people or some astronomical number. Then I will be mad if they cut it down. But what I've come to realize is, Ashburn just isn't that big, and it just can't hold the amount of fans that realistically want to show their support for the team right now. So in years to come, because I did hear them say that they are going to eventually make Ashburn a data center. Whenever they build this new practice facility, and it can house more people, and you don't allow that many people to come, then yes, I would be upset.
So they had, according to the Commanders, 10,000 fans at different times. And I was there for 90% of them, and it was right. And the argument that, like Grant and Danny were talking about earlier on their show, is you are trying to build a fan base. You're trying to get fans excited. You have a new rookie Heisman quarterback that people want to see firsthand. You're trying to sell season tickets. You had a fan base that was dying that you're trying to reinvigorate. So limiting the amount of times that people can come to a free event does nothing but hurt you, right? And I see that argument. I'm on the same page as you. If they limited practice to 3 times, if they limited practice to 1 time, and have that 1 time be at FedEx Field where you can host, I think it's 70,000 fans now, I'm fine with it, because I don't want the players to be distracted. And let's be real, it's a distraction having all those fans out there. The coaches cannot do what they need to do. They can tell the media to put their phones away, put their cameras away. They tell fans to do that, and fans don't listen. We talked about this on a previous pod, right? They just want the likes. They want the subscribers. They want whatever, because they want their video to go viral, right? And to me, all that matters, and Terry talked about it earlier, guys letting their guards down. You know who's not letting their guards down? A bunch of players that have 10,000 fans in the stands watching them because they can't get a chance to joke and smoke with their buddies that they're trying to build this rapport with. So I am 1,000% on board for just remove that access. Just take it away. I don't care about it. And maybe that's me selfish because I've got season tickets and I'm going to see them at the games anyway. And it is what it is. But I am perfectly okay with them just having 7 practices and knowing that it's only 7. Maybe I'll go to 2 of them. Maybe I'll go to 1 of them. Maybe I won't go to any of them because to me, it's not going to be as big a deal. And I'll be just impressed by what I see. It does make, me wanting to, and I've been a firm believer, I don't want to see them on Hard Knocks, but it does make me want to, if they do limit this down the road to not much, maybe put us on a Hard Knocks next year, or maybe the Commanders come out with their own version of Hard Knocks, right? To allow us to still see some of that stuff that we're not getting a chance to see, that they can curate and make sure doesn't let any of the cats out the bag, if you will. Like, remember the Making the Brand video? And they would do that TV show on Monumental or whatever, that Comcast Sportsnet before, and they accidentally leaked the team name and team logo on that. Right? It's just, do something a little, because CBS has the rights. WUSA 9 has the rights to all the TV stuff for the team. Like, maybe come out with that, because we cannot be there in person and see this stuff. Then maybe get a chance to give us some more extra stuff so we kind of feel like we're still being a part of it. But I know fans are pissed off, and we're all fanatical about this team, and we all love this team. If you're listening to this podcast, you're not listening to it because you're just either you're a family member of ours or a good friend, but you're listening to it because you love the Commanders, Washington football team, Redskins, whatever you want to call them. And I feel for you not being able to go there, not being able to be there, but Riley and I are actually agreeing on this. Close it down, right? Just let the guys play, let the guys practice, let the coaches coach. And if it gets us 2 more wins, because we have 4 or 5 less practices that we get to be at in person, I'll take that any day of the week, man.
Yeah. I think that if you had to ask the fans, hey, would you rather have 6 practices or 10 practices and go 4-13 again, or would you rather have 6 practices and go 9 at 7? You know what I mean? 9 and 6. Which one would you rather have? I think that they'd rather have the 9 and 6. So
I agree with you. And you had people calling into the radio saying, we pay their salaries, blah, blah. We make the NFL what it is. Like, you're not paying their salaries. The TV is paying their salaries. Right. Amazon Prime is paying their salaries, right?
Yeah.
Peacock is paying their salaries. If you're not watching, other people are going to be watching. So they just don't get it twisted. Let's know our roles here. We're here to support them and cheer them on, but getting all bent out of shape because we can't be there and get that autograph or get that picture, all that matters is winning. And if for whatever reason they feel that this will help them focus more and get wins by not having, and let's be realistic, fans are a distraction. By not having us as a distraction out there, then kick us out. Don't let me go. That's fine.
I wonder how they would feel if Adam Peters or even Dan Quinn said, I know this is what you guys want, but we've got a lot of new things that we're going to be putting into play, and we just didn't want the fans to see it. So work with us. How would they feel?
I don't think they'd care. I think that they'd be okay with it.
Oh, I think they'd care. Yeah, I think they'd care. I think if ownership, because right now everybody's buying into ownership, and I think that if ownership said something like that, say, hey, look, we understand, but we've got a lot of things that we're working on to make this team better, and so just let us work, and you'll see it in the outcome. I think that would shut a lot of people down.
Maybe they'll come out and say something, because it just dropped about an hour ago. And I'm sure social media and all those fan sites, everything else are blowing up and people are pissed off. So it's going to be interesting, but kind of like Jaden. Well, not like Jaden. I mean, they got 3 weeks off, I'm turning my social media off and just muting it for a little bit because I don't want to hear it, man. I don't got the patience for it because you can't argue with people that are dead set that this is wrong.
Oh
And
yeah.
chime in. Let us know. Let Rally and me know. Leave a comment on YouTube. Send us a tweet. Let us know how you feel about access being limited in camp because you got our opinion. I want to know yours. Let us know how you feel.
Yeah, this is a give scenario. So there's no us without you and you without us. So we need each other.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
Well, I hear the music playing in the background, which I always say lets me know that we're coming to a close for another episode of the DMV Mess Hall. We thank you guys for riding with us. And 3 weeks is a long time, bro. It really is. But better things are to come, and we're in for the long haul. So just you've held out this long, continue to hold out, and I will see everyone at camp. I can't wait to see you guys. Remember, you rep it hard, or you don't rep it at all. Rally Captain, Tailgate Ted, bringing this one to a close. Peace.